I'm Greg with Problem Rights. Today we're going to take a look at how to use the tab gear rear bag with the Desert Tactical Arms Stealth Recon Scout Rifle. Now obviously a bolt action bullpup is going to be slightly different as far as the rear of the rifle when compared to a normal traditional bolt action. We got a couple things to contend with back here. Primarily we've got the action and the magazine. Typically where your rear bag would go would be, 8-9 inches of nice smooth stock, possibly even with a hook for the rear bag. On the SRS, we've got a magazine to contend with down here. So obviously there's some different things that you'll need to be aware of when using a rear bag with this rifle. Now positioning of the rear bag is going to depend entirely upon your shooting position. But if you are in the prone position, obviously the tab gear rear bag has got these straps on it. Now, as you've seen in the review that I did on this bag here a couple of years ago, you'll just want to thread your hand through one of those straps so that you can create a nice platform for the rifle to ride on. Now in the case of the SRS, the magazine is going to interfere with that a little bit, but it also can help it, depending on your own shooting style. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. If we lift the rear of the rifle up to get the bag under there, we can go to the rear, right behind the magazine, and there's a nice little slot there that will kind of capture the rear bag. It's still in a nice U shape, so it'll move easily, and you can squeeze your hand to lift the rear of the rifle. You can relax your hand to let the rifle settle back in. The other way that you can position this rear bag is by setting it directly on the magazine. Now I haven't noticed any feeding problems or malfunctions as a result of that. This is not the technique that I use, but I have seen it done a few times. By putting it on the magazine, there's quite a bit of surface area where it will slide along the rear bag if you're one of those free recoil type shooters. I'm not, so I like it being snugged in right behind the magazine here. And this is what it looks like in the firing position. So obviously I can control everything I need to with the rifle from this position. If I wanted to, I can actually use that magazine's position as kind of a little pocket to help hold the rear bag if I needed to pick the entire rifle up and move it. I can use my shoulder. Now, that's a nice thing about the SRS being a bullpup. It's very well balanced. So more of the weight is back towards me, and even with the 10-inch 338 suppressor on the end of this thing, it's very heavy. I can shoulder the rifle by using the grip and lift it right up. Now that would be very, very challenging to do with a typical 338 gun. Now, with my hand in the rear bag in this position, obviously we've created a problem when it comes to reloading. The magazine isn't just readily available like it would be on a traditional bolt rifle. So there's one easy way to overcome that, and that's simply to use the rear bag as kind of a pedestal when you're reloading. Now there's ambidextrous controls on this SRS for dropping the magazine. So when you're out, what you would do is simply raise the rear of the rifle, set the back of it up on the rear bag, and then you can drop your magazine right out. Now the nice thing about this is if you don't have multiple magazines, obviously if you did have another mag, you could just grab it and stuff it right in there and go right back to it. If you don't, it's very easy to reload in this position. There's a nice space right here, lots of area to work in, so you can grab your magazine, grab some rounds out of the box, and simply load them right in. And it's pretty quick. And when you settle back into your position, because you didn't really disrupt the rear bag, you just kind of moved it to the back. So it's going to be nearly in the same position as when you started. That's going to result in you getting back on target very fast. So it might start out feeling a little awkward when you first get one of these rifles, but after you shoot it for a while, this is one of the things that actually becomes a great benefit.